Okay, so this is like Tim Dillon talking about DoorDash guys, right? I realize he's a comedian and he's kind of being funny and kind of playing a part to maybe show something about society, right? But I just found it really interesting, just the first few minutes of this video, because it kind of reflects my experience as being a pizza delivery guy back in the days in England. So let's start it. Hopefully the audio is good. Hopefully I do not get copyright strike.
Because God only knows. I'll tell you this, man. Those DoorDash people see some shit.
Oh, God, dude. First of all, lest we forget, the people that have had to go to people's homes, brother, they have to go into the trenches
Well,
of...
sometimes they get killed.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I'm sure maybe nowadays it doesn't happen as much because everyone's paying on cash and stuff. They're paying on Visa cards and whatnot and apps. But like it used to be, like when I did it back in the day, you'd be carrying a lot of cash sometimes, you know, especially if you're taking out like a few pizzas at a time, big orders, like you have got some cash and some people will know you've got cash. And another thing, like you cannot in England back then or even now have any kind of defense. Like you can't carry pepper spray completely illegal. Say like a taser, minimum, look it up, at least it was when I was doing it, 5-year mandatory minimum sentence for a firearm, and a taser would count as a firearm. So basically you got no protection when you go out.
Sometimes people kill them. Sometimes you have a burrito in your car and you're driving it to someone's house, and that is going to be the last thing you do on this earth. The last thing you do is walk a soggy burrito to a guy's house, and instead of just taking the burrito and saying thank you, he goes, "I'm going to kill you now."
Yeah, he said.
And
See, like one of the things now, like a lot of the guys are on scooters and shit, and so okay, I said before, like it might be safer because you haven't got like you haven't got as much cash, right? Or any cash, I guess. But these guys are on scooters, and it's pretty easy to kick people off scooters or motorbikes, whatever, and fucking steal them. So it's actually probably just as dangerous now.
then they kill you.
Yeah. They say, welcome to Memphis. Okay,
Yeah,
brother?
welcome to Memphis.
And the crazy thing is, a lot of the people inside who know they're going to kill you,
Yeah.
as you're walking up, murders have gotten so advanced with like ambiance and production,
Yes.
that they will even play,
Yeah.
There Goes My Hero.
Right.
From like yard plants,
Yeah.
speakers hidden in yard plants.
Yeah. As you're about to go. And then
Watch
you're
him as he goes.
and you're laying there and you're bleeding out, and one of the last thoughts you have is, this song is great. Yeah. This is a great song.
Yeah.
And I'm sad I won't be able to hear it anymore. It's the last.
But I can say, I'm sure it's the same now. Like being a delivery like driver for food is kind of a bit scary, and like one of the things I used to fucking do all the time is I would swap deliveries with other guys in the pizza shop, right? So comes up on the screen, it's like, this guy, you got like 3 pizzas to go somewhere to 3 different addresses, like in a nice area, and I've got the nice area, right? The other guy's got like 3 in like the sketchiest, fucked up area nobody wants to go to. I would always swap, because you're allowed to swap. I would just swap, and I'd take all the ones to the shit area. And do you know why? Because the tips were fucking insane. In England, at least, the poorer somebody is, the more they tip. You go to like a super nice area with fucking expensive houses and expensive cars outside, and the order is like £11.98, and they give you 12. They'll make you go back to your car for the fucking 2 pence. I've fucking experienced it. Meanwhile, like, you'll go somewhere where it's super sketchy. A lot of the fucking houses are boarded up. There's no cars on the street, like parked, because it's that sketchy. Guy opens the door, stinks of weed. He's got newspaper on his windows. No carpet. it's fucking scary. An order of like £6, he'll fucking give you like a £10 or £10 and some change and say, keep it, it's for you. Like, you would make way more money going to the shit areas.
I'm hearing. And then you see that burrito as you're bleeding out, you just look at it, just that burrito.
Yeah.
And it's a tough gig.
A hand just comes in a frame and
grabs
gets it.
it. Yeah. It's a tough gig.
People don't want to talk about the real turf war that's going on, Tim.
Yeah.
And that is between DoorDashers and the homeless,
Yes.
bro.
Well, because...
So that might be a thing now in America, but like in England, I never had any problem with like homeless people delivering pizzas. What would scare me was more like groups of teenagers in certain rough estates and shit. Well, like you got to drive in and like there's like one way in, right? And you go past this massive group of fucking teenage chavas, right? And that would be what would scare me. Never any homeless people, but that was England. It might be a bit different in America.
If you're homeless, if I see a DoorDasher, I'm seeing an opportunity. That's all it is. That's all it is. By the way, DoorDashers now are they don't let it be known they're a DoorDasher. No. They are stealth.
Yeah, like I guess he's talking about being stealth for like security reasons, but like one of the things, like so I think I said before, like being a pizza delivery guy back in the day in England, you're making way more than minimum wage. You're getting like the minimum wage you have to get. Then you're getting on top of that per delivery taken out, you're getting a certain amount of money, which is like way more than the fuel. And if you've got like a cheap car, way more than the maintenance cost. And on top of that, you're getting tips. So like I'd estimate it's something like 50-60% more just in your change at the end of the night after you've covered all your fuel and maintained your car. So it's like it was a way better job than any minimum wage or even slightly above minimum wage job. But the thing is that the social status for it was terrible. That's why nobody would want to do it. That's why you could always get a job doing it. That's why every pizza or curry place would say, in the window there'd be a sign saying drivers wanted. It's not because the money was shit. It's because in England, and I'm sure it's the same now, but then especially, like talking a few decades, well, kind of, the social stigma of being a pizza driver was just so bad, nobody would really want to do it. Like, imagine your parents don't want to tell anyone that you're doing it. Like, a girl would not be impressed. You'll get shit off your mates a little bit, you know?
Yeah, food delivery people are stealth.
And I'm talking like I did it as a second job, but I experienced that massive negative stereotype. But I just fucking loved fucking driving, and it's a way to get paid to drive around like the city at night, listen to whatever music you want to do, like skidding your car around corners. It's fucking like awesome. Actually an awesome job.
They'll dress up like postal workers.
Yeah.
Vampires. I'm seeing a vampire.
Yeah. You don't even know who they are. They're in a costume. They're in a truck.
I see somebody just wandering like
Sometimes
this.
they have their friend with them as a lookout. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
There's literally be a guy in the front seat of the car, and then his chick will be just kind of looking out, just making sure like nobody comes and kills him.
Yeah, no. So like, if you're living in a car, like I never did this, but like a lot of the guys that would deliver, they'd have their girlfriends in their car because it's like a way to hang out with your girlfriend, driving around, listening to music, and you're getting paid for it. And driving's kind of cool. And maybe the girlfriend's got nothing to do that night. Like she's going to sit home and watch TV, or she's going to hang out driving around the city with her boyfriend. Like a lot of people did it. And it wasn't, the girlfriend's not going to protect you. It's just a way to get paid hanging out with your girlfriend, basically. That's what it was, and I'm sure that's what it is now.
Crazy that DoorDashers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and they are also carrying messages.
Here's the thing, I don't feel bad for any of them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anyone who does it, and I do believe anybody who's doing DoorDash is like, you know, in India, they have a caste of people called the untouchables.
Do they really?
Yes, you just can't fuck with them. You
Wow.
can't go near them. You see them, and you look away.
So this is a point that I wanted to like make this video about. So like I said, like I was doing it in England, and the kind of class mentality is still a big, or was still a big thing in England. Like I say, like people would, there's like a shame attached to a job like delivering pizzas in society, and people would behave like this to you when you're in the uniform and delivering the pizza, especially like in the posh areas, but just generally, like, you know, you stop somewhere and you ask for directions or whatever, like people just look at you sometimes like a piece of shit. I mean, some of that could be you imagining it or whatever, but actually it's a real thing. Like I've had people who would, like, say you meet someone and they find out you deliver pizzas, like they just look at you like a piece of shit. Like, one example of this, man. So like back then we'd carry a lot of cash, right? And I went out clubbing one night, and one of the best things, you don't have a wallet. You don't have a wallet when you go out drinking because you can lose it, right? So I would take a money bag. It's basically a bag that you put your money in, and I'd keep that in my pocket. No one can pickpocket it. I can't drop it. And anyway, like, I pull this girl, this student girl, like in a nightclub, right? It's all fucking great. We're gonna go back to her place. We're in a fucking taxi. It's like the middle of fucking winter. We'll go back to her place. It's all going great in the taxi. This is like amazing. We stop now. I'm a gentleman, right? So I'm gonna pay the taxi. Now, taxi drivers back then also had money bags. It's a bag full of money and change and shit. So like I whipped out my money bag and I paid the taxi driver. And like this girl goes, what's that? Like, are you a taxi driver too? And I was like, oh no, I deliver pizzas, right? She goes a bit quiet. I didn't quite pick up on it. We get out of the taxi. I'm like about 3 miles away from home, right? We walk to her front door. She basically, like, I can't remember to actually physically push me away, but she opened the door and basically just slammed it behind me. And I think she said something like, I might be misremembering this, but something like, "You a fucking pizza driver?" You know what I mean? Like, I can understand it because there's a social stigma. And I had to walk fucking, like, the taxi had gone, man, and it's like northeast of England, cold as fuck. And I've got to walk like 3 miles home at like fucking 3 o'clock in the morning.
That is kind of, and this, don't take offense to this, but it is when I encounter a food delivery person in the wild, I look away.
No.
I will look away.
Tim, you don't feel like you're one of them?
A food delivery person? No.
Yeah.
There's so many other jobs. I just feel like if you're delivering DoorDash, I just inherently, here's the thing. I love them as a person. They're a child of God.
Yeah.
But they're in so much pain.
Like, so basically, that's kind of what it's like. This is why back then, like, I mean, I'd have like an office job, right? And, you know, my parents might be kind of okay with that. People would be okay with that. I'm wearing like nice clothes, got a fucking tie and shit. You could tell someone, oh, I work here, and that's cool. Tell someone you work in a pizza shop, even in the fucking evening. It just had this effect on people, and it's like what he's saying, like, and when you're doing it, it's like people wouldn't look at you, exactly like he says. Like, and I'm sure he's just joking about it, and joking about it in a kind of way to reflect how human nature in societies is. But when you're doing a job that is considered low, right, and I've done a lot of them, right, people behave towards you in this very strange way, and it's like he says, don't look at you, don't want to look at you, you're just a piece of shit. I just think because I've got a million examples of this, but like I'd say one of them would be when I was working in like expensive hotels, you know, and someone's ordered a coffee, and this isn't when people are on mobile phones or something. Like you'd go over, they're sitting somewhere, and you'd have to put the fucking teacup down in a coffee cup down in a particular way and pour in a particular way and all this kind of shit. But you had to make sure you never kind of got in their line of sight, and you didn't talk to them. You were invisible, and they just wouldn't even fucking look at you. They wouldn't say thanks. They're just sitting there. You pour fucking not everybody obviously, but you'd be like pouring the coffee for them, a little bit of it or however you have to do it, and you'd just be like invisible. You're absolutely invisible. And I remember like one time this person broke the invisibility with me because I brought out like white sugar and milk, and it was like after 6 p.m. and like amongst the sort of kind of very rich kind of people back then, it was like that was a no-no. So like after 6 p.m. you don't have white sugar and milk. You have cream and brown sugar or dark sugar, and it was like the usual thing, completely ignoring you, like you don't exist. And then she just noticed that the sugar and the sugar was wrong and the milk was wrong, and just fucking was like rude as fuck. But yeah, I just find this. I want to come on this because it's a time of life where I've experienced that invisibility, and I see it a lot in my life. If I go to restaurants or bars and stuff, and I'll see people being exactly the same to the serving staff. Just like it kind of kicks in this human nature thing where they're like invisible. And worse, like some people just feel completely fine to be like rude to you. And I don't think that maybe they're bad people. I think it's just kind of part of human nature and the society and all that kind of fucking shit.